Welcome to Meet JMT, Insights from Within, a series that introduces our industry professionals and provides them the opportunity to share their professional experiences, personal reflections, and sources of inspiration as individuals working in the architecture, engineering, and construction sectors.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Meet JMT podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I am your host and digital marketing manager here at JMT. Today, we are celebrating National Disability Independence Day, and to help us do so, we have Joan Lyons. Not only is she a senior planner here at JMT, but she is also an advocate and supporter of people with disabilities and is a design practitioner that focuses on creating accessible spaces for all. Joan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Jennifer. It's an honor to talk with you on National Disability Independence Day.
For those who might not be as familiar with this national observance, including myself, could you provide our listeners with some background on the significance of this day and how it came to be?
National Disability Independence Day commemorates the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, also referred to as ADA, on July 26, 1990. And this year is the 34th anniversary of the ADA. The day not only celebrates the anniversary of the importance of ADA, but also brings awareness to the barriers disabled populations face daily. While my work in the profession has focused on enabling people with any disability to fully participate in their communities, this year is my first National Disability Independence Day since receiving my disability diagnosis, which makes my work in this holiday that much more important to me. It is also the first National Disability Independence Day where the Public Rights-of-Way Accessibility Guidelines, also referred to as PROAG rulemaking, has been finalized. PROAG addresses requirements for access to sidewalks and streets, crosswalks, curb ramps, pedestrian signals, on-street parking, and other components of public right-of-way that many of our clients incorporate into their designs. I'm excited to talk to you more about this on this episode today.
Thank you for providing more information about this very important day. Your commitment to advocating for disability rights is truly inspiring. Would you mind telling our listeners a little bit more about your background within the ADA community and your role here at JMT?
I am a senior planner at JMT, and I'm based in our Raleigh office and help lead planning projects across multiple regions in JMT's company footprint. Since joining the company a year ago, my work has spanned communities in North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Given my Colorado roots, I'm also helping our Denver office expand our planning discipline to the West. My planning experience centers around the fields of transportation, particularly in the bicycle, pedestrian, multimodal trails, transit, rail, micromobility, and transportation demand management sectors. But I also focus a lot of my work on accessibility, which of course encompasses the ADA, social justice, sustainability, climate, with a particular emphasis on drought planning, fire mitigation, and flooding, NEPA, which is a particular type of planning for the National Environmental Protection Act, and participatory planning in communities. As it relates to the ADA and accessible design, I've been working on ADA projects for over a decade. Most of my work has helped communities across the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic regions comply with Title II requirements, which requires any state and local government that employs over 50 individuals to create ADA transition plans. ADA transition plans evaluate programs, activities, services, and facilities that local governments provide. This involves evaluating existing infrastructure such as buildings, parks, parking, and sidewalks through PROAG, which I mentioned earlier, and the 2010 ADA standards for accessible design. Transition plans also evaluate how state and local governments communicate with the public through their website or at public meetings, the programs and events that they put on in their community, and the different administrative and policy decisions they have that may affect disabled populations. Over my career, I've helped over 14 different jurisdictions with ADA transition plans. In my spare time, I'm also on the Alliance of Disability Advocates Board of Directors. Alliance is a federally recognized Center for Independent Living, also referred to as a CIL, that serves the Triangle region in Greenville, North Carolina. The organization helps thousands of disabled community members be able to thrive in daily life and live independently.
Thank you so much for sharing and for giving us that additional introduction. Can you tell us about what your inspirations were leading to your professional career?
When I attended LSU for my undergraduate degree, I did not have a vehicle Having lived in Denver with significant transportation choice, I struggled with the fact that I could not bike, walk, or take transit as easily in Baton Rouge. At the time, Louisiana was the third worst state for bicyclist and pedestrian deaths per capita in the United States. Given the significant number of fatalities and serious injuries, I felt compelled to talk more about the challenges of traffic fatalities and try to help improve Louisiana's infrastructure, which resulted in me creating the social media campaign Move Happy Louisiana. Move Happy Louisiana educated LSU students and the general public about Vision Zero, connected people to projects to provide bicycle and pedestrian feedback like the Government Street Road Diet in Baton Rouge, and helped establish better connections from downtown Baton Rouge and LSU's campus using bike sharing and transit. During my time at the university, I also helped multiple mobility impaired students with advancing university compliance for accessible parking standards and intersection improvements for ramps and crosswalks so that all students could experience the same college experience, regardless of their mobility impairments. Though I hadn't fully gotten an urban planning degree at the university, my time there inspired me to pursue a graduate degree in urban planning and ultimately practice in the profession for the last 8 years.
I think it's great that you were able to take your personal experiences as a student who really saw a need to be fixed and leverage that into an entire campaign towards bringing awareness to Vision Zero, but also into a full-on career path. Moving into your professional career today, can you tell us about a significant project you've handled and how that may have impacted you, our company, or even the AEC industry as a whole?
I recently wrapped up working on the environmental screening for the S-Line, which is also referred to as the Raleigh to Richmond or R2R project. The USDOT awarded a $1 billion grant from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law to establish a new passenger rail route between Raleigh, North Carolina and Richmond, Virginia. The 162-mile route will be along CSX Transportation S-Line as a part of the Southeast Corridor that will better connect North Carolina with Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Northeast Corridor. The project received NCDOT's largest federal investment to date. Once the project is complete, the service will save over an hour of travel time between the two cities and will allow for more frequent and reliable service and make the trip to Washington, D.C. competitive with driving times.
It's interesting to learn about the significant federal investment in this project and also the positive impact it's going to have on so many people's everyday lives. I definitely look forward to learning more about this project once it's fully complete. Are there any hobbies or interests outside of work that you feel have really influenced your professional journey today?
Getting outside in nature and helping others is my medicine. I'm an avid runner, hiker, commuter cyclist, and have also been starting to dabble with paddleboarding and skateboarding. When I'm not outside, you will normally find me volunteering regularly in my community where I sit on multiple boards and advisory commissions. Getting to see how people use public space to connect with each other and how people use different modes of transportation to move through these spaces or to them have truly shaped the way that I plan and design public space. You will never look at a project the same way after you've walked through a project corridor, ridden your bike to nearby destinations, or taken transit to look at a project site. I always encourage anyone I interact with in the profession to try and do the same.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Joan. And before we leave, I want to talk briefly about JMT's involvement in relation to ADA and how others can get involved. Do you mind expanding on this just a little bit more for us?
Yes. As I mentioned before, JMT has developed ADA transition plans and other pilot projects to evaluate the infrastructure of different jurisdictions and agencies throughout our company footprint. From transportation planning, the technology group, architecture, facilities, and natural and cultural resources, many of our practices are working together to help our clients understand ADA requirements and ultimately assist them with complying with standards in new and innovative ways. If there are individuals listening to this podcast that are trying to figure out where to start with evaluation or construction of new infrastructure, there are many of us ready to help you understand the requirements. Many JMT employee owners have decades of experience with Section 504, the ADA, PROAG, and the U.S. Access Board, and we're ready to help with some of the most complex challenges. Because ADA affects so many of our projects, quite a few of our ADA technical experts within our different practices have been creating task force to help our teams exceed ADA standards on projects and to find innovative ways to help our clients. As JMT continues to grow, we hope to expand these task forces with other employee owners that join our company. So if you or someone you know is passionate about accessibility or accessible design, I'd love to chat and also point you in the right direction.
I am so glad to hear that there are numerous ADA experts here at JMT and that we are taking these important steps to ensure accessibility. Thank you for joining the Meet JMT podcast, and of course, all of our listeners for tuning in. Are there any closing thoughts you would like to leave our listeners with today?
There are two thoughts I'd like to close with. Firstly, I want to thank JMT and all those that I've worked with in supporting me during my disability diagnosis. Because of JMT's company culture and benefits, I was able to take the time that I needed to meet with many doctors weekly and find a path forward to living a happier and healthier life. JMT truly cares about their employees, and I do not think that it is a coincidence that because of the support I received, I got the answers to decade-long questions my family had asked doctors about as they raised me. Last but certainly not least, many disabilities are invisible to the eye. In the US, 1 in 4 people have a disability. It is more likely than not that a person will join the disability community in their lifetime or have a family member that has a disability, whether it is temporary or permanent. My hope in sharing my story on National Disability Independence Day is to help others see the importance of this day for more than what may be visible and celebrate the ways it improves our communities for our loved ones.
Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the Meet JMT podcast today. Remember to subscribe, post a review, and of course encourage your friends and colleagues to do the same.